morning, everybody. Now the time is 10 minutes late. Here we can start the program. Today we will have an open defense biology examination on the topic of trade union movements in Cochin Port and its impact by our research scholar Saludat. Our supervising teacher was our beloved teacher Dr. P.V. Vamana. The evaluation of the thesis has been completed, and the Open Defense Biology program has got university direction through online. Now we are conducting. The chairman, our respected Professor P.D. Johnny, former HOD, retired Professor Aliva UC College, is already been here. My duty is to introduce our chairman. First of all, I introduce before you the chairman of the Open Defense Biology examination, Dr. P.D. Johnny. Other in various capacities, after the Aliva UC College, but in his college as principal and University of Mahatma Gandhi University as research scholar, supervising teacher, examiner, administrator in various capacities. He has proved his abilities. At present, he is working as a senior editor of a magazine. He has produced 6 more PhDs and published a number of papers in various national and international seminars and also in various journals. On behalf of you and on behalf of the university, I extend a warm welcome to the chairman, Dr. P.D. Johnny. The candidate, Saudit, is here after a long struggle and experience. He has been completed as PhD. I also extend a warm welcome to Saudit for the successful completion of the Open Defense Biology examination, and wish you all the best. And P.V. Vamana, the supervising teacher, is also here. I also J. Vamana is here. Sorry, guys. J. Vamana is here. On behalf of you, I also extend our warm welcome to you. Okay, now I move the mic to the chairman, Professor P.D. Johnny.
Respected Professor and Head of the Department of History, Sangaraja University of Sanskrit, Kaladi. A long time friend, a family friend, Dr. J. Vamana, former faculty member of this university. The candidate, Saujat A.Z., who has done a tremendous work on the trade union movement of Cochin Port. So it is specifically meant to be the trade union movement in Cochin. She has a wider canvas of analyzing the trade union movement in Kerala, eastern Kerala, around the Cochin and Malabar area. Then she has come down to the trade union activities of Cochin Port and its impact on the port as well as in and around the areas in and around of Kochi. I am very happy to say that the university has taken so much interest and pains during this COVID-19 pandemic period to conduct the open defense here. I also congratulate and express my thanks to the head of the department who took our pains to come over here and to be with us for this open defense, and also the supervising teacher. In fact, I went through the thesis, I examined and I valued all the examiners given their comments on thesis. They have pointed out the merits as well as the demerits, I say drawbacks. That is very common, drawbacks are very common in any thesis work, but these drawbacks or negative notes are not being unfavorable to the candidate. All the examiners have positively responded to recommend the university and to go ahead with the formalities of the awarding of the PhD. I would like to say a few words or a few sentences regarding the thesis. We have already learned so much about the theories regarding the trade union movements, but the candidate has specifically chosen the Marxian revolutionary theory of class struggle as an analytical tool for the trade union movement in Cochin area. It has a wider panoramic area she examined before coming to the thesis. Actually, the chapters first and second gives the general background of the trade union movement. Though she started specifically about the trade union movement in Cochin, but she has added more points with the trade union movements in Europe in short. Then she came to Kerala, Eastern Kerala, Travancore, Cochin and Malabar area before independence, trade union movement during the struggle for independence, and also the modern trade union activities in Cochin area. It is limited to, the area is limited from 1929 to 1975. I think that she has chosen these 2 years specifically. The reason may be, it is in 1929 that the Thoni Thillali Union of Cochin area was started. So she has taken this as the base for her analytical study. Then it ends with 1975 when the government of Kerala accepted formally the trade union movement, and also the trade union movement has become a part of the workers and their activities. Both the employees and the workers have proved to be essential for the growth and expansion of Cochin Port. As we all know that the Cochin Port was the main center of trade activities from time immemorial, and medieval times as well as modern times, the strategic position of Kochi as one of the main centers of the commercial activities has been kept, and large number of workers from Cochin and in and around of Cochin area, even from outside the state, also came to Cochin Port seeking their job. So she analyzes that there was a period of exploitation of the workers by the middlemen, and these middlemen were actually been exploiting the laborers by giving them poor wages, long working hours, and also child labor, taking of many people from outside, and also the system of giving lot or some kind of choosing the workers for the area. But later, because of the efforts of the workers, they have organized and in such a way that they could get most of their demands granted, and in modern times it has become part of the commercial and other life of the Kerala area. But she has specifically said that in Kerala's context, the political parties have a major role in the growth of trade union movement, especially during the freedom struggle as well as after the struggle. The political parties have become a part of the trade union movement, and there was inseparable relationship between the trade union movement and political parties. So this has been she highlighted, and also the Marxist evolutionary class struggle also she applied, and she has supplied most of the evidences and proofs for the analysis. Overall, all the examiners have positively responded, and we can listen more from that presentation. And all the participants, if you have doubts, we can clarify with the candidate, and then we shall proceed. So thank you very much for your presence here. Okay, thank you.
Respected Chairman, Respected Chairman of the Board of Education, Dr. T.D. Johnny, Professor, Head of the Department, Dr. Basil, my supervisory teacher, Dr. J. Omina, other professors of the department, fellow researchers, and my dear friends, good morning to all of you, and warm welcome to the presentation of my thesis, Trade Union Movement in Cochin and its impact. I'm presenting the abstract of my thesis in PowerPoint. This study, Trade Union Movement in Cochin Port and its impact, is an attempt to explore the formation of the trade union movement in Cochin Port to articulate as to how this movement helped the development of modern Cochin. Trade unions are one among the major components of the modern industrial revolution. The expansion of industries will lead to increase in the number of industrial workers, which in turn will lead to the growth of trade union movement that enrich the process of industrialization. Multitude of problems like forceful engagement of women and children, even for tedious manual jobs, long hours of work, low wages, lack of elementary facilities, bad working and living conditions, intense workload, inhuman treatment of workers, and the like are spawned out of industrialization. Naturally, it is inevitable to formulate organization that will protect the laborers from the tribulations of industrialization. Harvest and development. To cope with the ever-growing world trade, ports of every country will no doubt continue to play a critical role in providing the cheapest mode of transportation. In South India, it is in the Cochin port where import and export are largely carried out. Cochin port is a blessing to our country, and it is known as the Queen of the Arabian Sea. In India, there are only a few ideal ports where goods from the ships can be transported into the shore and vice versa. Besides that, ship can come too close to the shore of the port. These special features enable several ships to come close to Cochin port for the purpose of importing and exporting. Naturally, Cochin port opens umpteen employment opportunities. In the earlier days, the cargo handling operation demanded involvement of large number of workers on shore side, in the steamers and in midstream. To maintain uninterrupted supply of labor, the stevedores and contractors used to keep a large number of persons on their rolls, a sort of reserve force to meet emergencies. There was no security to tenure for the labor or promise of regular employment. The employers reserved the right by issuing tokens. The workers had to assemble well before the dawn, hoping for a chance. This chance factor led to criminal exploitation of the workers. This was the background in which trade union movement emerged in Cochin port. Extension of the provision of the Industrial Dispute Act 1947 to the industrial workmen of the port with effect from 24th October 1953 gave a fillip to the growth of trade union movement adding to a substantial increase in the number of trade unions. Review of literature. An exhaustive study was carried out with the help of authentic sources. Both primary and reliable secondary sources have been used to discuss various phases of the socio-economic reforms and developments in the history of the state of Cochin. The administration reports collected from regional archives form the source to study the official policies and perspectives of the period. Along with this, blue books containing important papers relating to land revenue settlements, government proceedings, and royal proclamations were also studied. Empirical studies in relation to trade union movements are many. Several such studies have also been consulted. Period of the study. Starting with the Tonitolali Union of 1929, it encompasses the formation of Cochin Turambuka Tolali Union and the creation of the Dock Labour Board in 1963. The movement developed a mighty source in the year ahead. The period selected is unique in the sense that during the post-1963 period, there was multiplication in the number of trade unions in the Cochin port. That affected far-reaching fundamental changes in the nature and organization of all our activities in relation to the port. Conceptual framework. The Marxist theory on class struggle is applied in the study. The Cochin Port Trade Union movement was formed against the cruel attitude of stevedores and the intermediaries. The concept of class struggle appears in the study as a theoretical tool to discuss the emergence of trade union movement in Cochin Port and its impact. Karl Marx developed his theory of class struggle in his analysis and critique of the capitalist society. The class struggles of history have been between minorities. Major changes in history have involved the replacement of one form of private property by another. Marx believed that the class struggle that would transform capitalist society would involve none of these processes. The protagonist would be the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, a minority versus a majority. Private property would be replaced by communally owned property. Capitalist society is by its very nature unstable. It is based on contradictions and antagonism, which can only be resolved by its transformation. The basic conflict of interest involves the exploitation of workers by capitalists. Capitalists, by exploiting labor, accumulate profit. This profit is generated through surplus value, which means the labor time necessary for the worker to produce a value equal to one he received in the form of necessary labor time wages is less than the actual duration of his work. Since the employers have monopolized the instrument of production, they can force the workers to work for extra hours and thus profit tend to accumulate with increased exploitation of labor. The economic exploitation, Marx says, an inhuman working condition leads to increased alienation of man. This contradiction would be highlighted by a second. The contradiction between social production and individual ownership. Social production in a large factories juxtaposed with individual ownership illuminates the exploitation of the proletariat. Social production also makes it easier for workers to organize themselves against the capitalists. It encourages a recognition of common circumstances and interest. These two factors transform a class itself to a class for itself through the development of class consciousness and class solidarity. Apart from these factors, certain factors in the natural development of a capitalist economy would result in the polarization of two main classes. That is, the increased use of machinery will result in a homogeneous working class. Second, the difference in wealth between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat will increase as the accumulation of capital proceeds. Even though the real wages and living standard of the proletariat may rise, its members will become poorer in relation to the bourgeoisie. Third, the competitive nature of capitalism means that only the largest and most wealthy companies will survive and prosper. Thus, the petty bourgeoisie, the owners of small business, will sink into the proletariat. The final stage of class consciousness and class solidarity is reached when members realize that only through collective action can they overthrow the ruling class and they take positive steps to do so. A violent revolution breaks out and destroys the capitalistic structure of society. The bloody revolution terminates the capitalist society and leads to the social dictatorship of the proletariat. Marx theory, being all has a series of defects, it is evidently fallacious to say that the history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggle, since it means that there has not been a cooperation of classes. It is also fallacious that class cooperation has been an even more universal phenomenon than class antagonism. Objectives of the study. Scope of the study. The development of Cochin Port paved the way for the growth of industrialization over the Cochin area that inaugurated a new era of development of factory industries in Kerala. In this scenario, trade union acted as a catalyst in developing Cochin Port. Hence, the study is relevant. Objectives of the study. In the present work, attempts are made to analyze the origin and development of trade unionism in Cochin Port. The emergence of trade unions and their activities enabled Cochin Port to elevate to the status of one of the major ports in India with the finest cargo handling and containerization. The workers of Cochin Port accepted the system of introduction of containerization wholeheartedly. Though it would affect the job stability, they have been committed to the growth of Cochin Port. The following are the objectives of the study. To inquire into the miserable working condition of the laborers during the early stages of the Cochin Port that led to the formation of trade unions in the Cochin Port. To examine the history of the evolution and growth of trade unions in Cochin Port. To contemplate the role played by the political parties in the development and decline of the Cochin Port. To reflect on the aspect as to whether the labor unions' activities helped the development or decline the functions of the Cochin Port. To study the overall impact in general and the socio-economic impact of trade unions on various aspects like industrial relations, politics, life and culture of the workers, etc. Research questions. What is the history of the trade union movement in Kerala and its impact? How Pranganur and Alappuzha lost their power in trade and how Cochin gained. How the formation of Cochin Port helped the growth of small-scale industries on the banks of the Arabian Sea. Did the origin of Cochin Port give a new era of development in all parts of Kerala? How did it help the progress of Ernakulam, Alua area into the major industrial belt in Kerala? What are the intentions behind the formation of trade union movement in Cochin Port? Did the unorganized pattern of labor identity adversely affect the laborers of Cochin Port and led them to miserable condition? Who are the major leaders of the trade union movement in Cochin Port and what were their early activities? How did the trade union movement in Cochin Port and their activities help the growth of Cochin Port? Hypothesis. Wherever the trade union movement had been strong, they played an important role in the establishment of a balance of power relation between employers and workers, thus contributing to the overall welfare of the working class. The emergence of the trade union movement in Cochin Port helped to improve the working condition of the workers of the port. The trade union movement in Cochin Port played a vital role in the development of the Cochin Port. This work articulates the emergence of trade unions and their good or evil impact on the Cochin Port. Methodology adopted is qualitative and analytical based on original sources, interviews, field survey and observation. Structure of the study. The present work is designed 5 chapters, excluding the introduction and conclusion. The first chapter is an endeavor to trace the origin and development of trade union movement in Kerala. Second chapter, the Cochin Port historical retrospect. Third chapter, formation of trade union movement in Cochin Port. Fourth chapter, working of trade unions in Cochin Port. Fifth chapter, impact of unions on society, economy and politics. The summary and finding made elsewhere in the study are summed up in the conclusion. Chapter first. The first chapter is an endeavor to trace the origin and development of trade union movement in Kerala. It is meant to discuss the history of the trade union movement in Kerala in general and its impact on the various fields of industrial operation and activities. Main titles of this chapter: Introduction of the trade union movement, the theories of trade unionism, origin of trade union movement, History of trade union movement in England, repeal of the combination law, Royal Commission on Trade Unions, 1867 to 69, Trade Union Act, 1871, evolution of trade union movement in India, the first trade union movement in India, Madras Labour Union, formation of the International Congress, All India Trade Union Congress, post-independence period, trade union movement in Kerala, industrial era, early trade unions, union movement in Malabar, union movement in Cochin, cashew sector industry, the communist influence, trade unionism in the post-independence period, nature of political involvement of trade unions, politics, past, minority and ideology, current status of trade unions. Origin of trade union movement. Trade unions were born at a time when the Industrial Revolution was started in England. Later on, the concept of trade unions spread all over the world. Outbursts of economic activity, World War I and II, the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia and the establishment of the communist state, the rise of fascism in Europe, the evolution of political thought, all these had the impact on development of trade unions. During the last quarter of the 19th century, some forms of organization were established when few factories were set up. The first quarter of the 20th century saw the birth of trade union movement in India. After the First World War, was that the modern trade union movement really took permanence from the Indian soil. Low wages, long hours of work and deplorable working conditions were common in the factories. S.S. Bengali, N.M. Logande and others succeeded in the forming trade unions. The founder of the organized labor movement in India but may be said to be N.M. Logande, who was a factory worker himself. Logande organized the Bombay Mill Hands Association, on which he was elected as the president. It is often referred to as the starting point of the Indian labor movement. The association also published a journal called Deenabandhu. The first Indian trade union in organized lines was formed in Madras 1980 by B.P. Wadia. The establishment of Madras Labour Union gave a sense of solidarity and trade union consciousness among the workers. The Madras Labour Union was the first trade union of modern type in India. Its progress was mostly because of the spirit and sacrifice of the President B.P. Wadia. The year 1920 was a crucial important in the history of Indian trade union movement. It saw the formation of All India Trade Union Congress, N.M. Joshi, to introduce in the Indian legislation trade union legislation in 1921. However, his efforts succeeded only after a lapse of 5 years when the Trade Union Act 1926 passed. The outbreak of the Second World War created confusion with the national movement with an impact on trade union activities also. The difference of opinion between nationalists and communists over the nature of Second World War gradually led to vertical divide in Indian labor movement. As a result, the INTUC came into the scene, which in turn resulted in a national-wide split of Indian labor movement. The post-independence period witnessed further division in the movement. Kerala, the trade relation between foreign countries with Kerala, introduction of railway service and postal service laid the emergence of working class movement in Kerala. The society was so organized that one assumes a role in society by birth. Every caste has work category assigned to it by tradition. Caste rigidities were so firmly enriched that cross migration, as in the West, was impossible. The reformers emerged from amongst elites within caste themselves. V.T. Bhattathiripadu from Nambudiri caste, Srinarayana Guru Swamigal from Ilava caste, Mandathu Padmanabhan from Nair caste, Ayangali from amongst Dalits were some of the reformers who emerged with their own respective castes. They strive to put to an end the oppressiveness of caste system. So industrial employment in large scale in Kerala began with plantation. It was coir factory workers of Alapi who took the lead to form trade union in Kerala. The fruition of trade unionism occurred in different segments. Alappuzha is the cradle of trade unions in Travancore. There was also no uniformity in the movement in Malabar, Cochin and Travancore. Second chapter, the Cochin Board, a historical retrospect. The history of Cochin and her maritime activities with the foreign traders are attempted in this chapter. Main titles: Formation of Cochin Port, Structure of the Cochin Port, Economic Development of Cochin Port, Emergence of Modern Industries in Cochin, Social Condition of the People in the Cochin State during the period, Construction of Modern Port of Cochin, Transformation and further modernization, Organization, Structure, Development of Cochin, Economic Impact of the Cochin Port. The products of Kerala were in a great demand all over the world. Kerala was an important maritime nation in the dawn of Christian era. The year 3041 saw the gigantic forces of nature that culminated in the birth of natural harbour. This flood developed the Cochin harbour into one of the most important harbours of Indian west coast. The development of Cochin is loosely linked to the political and administrative history of Malabar coast. Even at the beginning of 20th century, Cochin had only an undeveloped harbour used only by boats and backwaters craft which lay at anchor. The British authorities realized the commercial and strategic potential of Cochin as a port and took necessary steps for its development. In 1920, Lord Wellington, Governor of Madras, took the decision to develop it into a first-class harbour, safe at all seasons of the year for ocean-going steamers. After the declaration of the port of Cochin as one of the major ports in India in 1936, it was officially thrown open to commercial traffic. The role of Cochin port is remarkable in the trade zone of Kerala. The activities here reflect the economic growth and prosperity of Kerala. The construction of the Cochin port helped the industrial and commercial development of the state. It offered job opportunities to many. Chapter 3, Formation of Trade Union Movement in Cochin Port. This chapter traces the historical forces that led to the formation of unions in the port. Main titles: Workers, Female Workers, Working Conditions, Chapa System, Patha Workers, Payment Method of the Workers, Thoni Workers, Dress Code of the Workers, Social Condition of Workers during the period, Early Leaders, Background of Trade Union Movement and the emergence of Congress Socialist Party in Cochin, Cochin Labour Union, the Factory Workers, formation of Thoni Tholalali Union, meeting of the small boat workers unions in Cochin, background of the formation of Cochin Port Cargo Labour Union. Cochin Chamber of Commerce, formed by British in 1857, was the organization of the merchants in Cochin. In Kerala, coir factories and plantations were started under the auspices of these companies. They gave opportunities in goodams and godowns for thousands of workers. Most of the foreign ships were anchoring in the high seas, so the transaction of the goods was only possible by engaging Thoni. The administrator of the harbour was the employer. Merchants maintained movements. The employers selected workers hailing from the rural areas, and very often they did not give them actual wages and good surrounding to live. Generally, tenants and poor farmers turned to port and factories for a job, having been more advantageous. Kanganis and movements functioned as agents of employers in the selection of workers. The movements were biased. They issued the token to all the favorites. Sometimes they will sell chapa into the black market. Once the favorite were over, the remaining tokens were thrown among the rest of the workers who had to struggle among themselves to possess it. The traditional system of payment of wages was discarded, and the rate of wages were decided according to the will of the employer or the movements. Often the movement exploited the workers. The unorganized nature of the work under the Thoni, Batta and Chumad section inflicted more difficulties on workers than in other sections. Working condition. The working time was not fixed for the workers. This caused employers to handle all situations without any humanitarian concern. The occurrence of accident to the Thoni, Bhatta and Chumal workers was a regular phenomenon. The exploitation of the employers increased and there was no guarantee for the workers' life, health and belongings. Any worker who was injured during working time was dismissed. No hospital facilities were provided for that person. There was some provision for compensation or safety measures for those who lost their lives or were handicapped in working place. Even drinking water was not provided to the workers. The stevedores supplied cooked rice and dal, curry, and this had to be taken while sitting on the deck. The food used to be served for about 5 to 6 workers in a single plate or palmiratada. With the movement and swing of the ship in the sea, some part of the food would fall on deck and get spoiled. Most of the workers were affected with dysentery and they were forced to abandon the work. The workers were forced to work for 24 hours continuously without any rest. Staff pass system. The employers reserved the right by issuing tokens. The system denoted the supply of chips as a license to the workers to work for the day. The workers had to assemble well before the dawn, hoping for a chance. There were 600 to 700 workers who rushed to the gate of honor for the token, which were issued only 60 to 70 workers. For the damage or loss of the token, the worker had to pay 2 annas as penalty. This chance factor led to criminal exploitation to the workers. Most of the workers returned desperately without any work. The absence of any trade union movement in Cochin Harbour denied the right of the poor workers to organize and fight against the injustice of the entrepreneurs and the exploitation of the Kanganis. This was the background in which trade union movement emerged in Cochin Port. The educational backwardness, religious bias and religious of the working class belief of the working class will create the employers the opportunity to more exploitation to the workers. With the advent of new era, Gandhian ideals and the message of Srinarayana Guru, Ayyangali and other Renaissance leaders spread widely in the society. Movements for the abolishing of untouchability and promotion of intercaste marriage, Pantibhojanam, etc. spread over Cochin also. A number of magazines and weeklies began to publish. Among the important ones were Sahodaran by K. Ayyappan, Yuktivadi by M.C. Joseph, Karshakathozhilali by K.M. Ibrahim, and Mahatma by Amshi Narayana Pillai. These publications and periodicals extensively inspired the people. Interventions of the leaders of Congress Socialist Party that was instrumental for the evolution of trade union movement in Cochin Port. At that time, CSP leader George Chadayamuri was appointed the post of tally clerk in the port. He oriented the workers about their rights and the importance of the job. When the workers had free time, they gathered around him. He explained to the workers the significance of labor movement. The Thoni Tholali Union was organized in 1929 in the Cochin Port against the impertinent attitude of the ship company owners. The main intention behind the formation of the union was to protest against the reduction of wage of Thoni workers. Soon after, a massive meeting was held publicly, but the employees did not take the strike seriously for a few days. After 6 days, they called a meeting and expressed their willingness to accept demand of the workers. The success of the strike created so much confidence among the workers that led to the formation of Cochin Port Labour Association. By the time 1938 and 39, the trade unions in and around Cochin started becoming stronger. They conducted several strikes and won many rights and benefits, even though labour acts and rules have not been formed and developed by that period. Cochin Port Cargo Labour Union. The union was organized in 1945 by the leaders of the Communist Party of India and it's naturally told the ideological line followed by the party. The earlier members of this union belonged to the loading and unloading workers, Bhatta workers, etc. The Calcutta thesis adopted by the Communist Party had created some confusion and some were of the view that they should take up arms. In that context, all communist-led unions were legally banned from January 2nd, 1950, along with 60 trade unions for political reasons. Many leaders went underground and this forced the growth of rival unions in the port. Many workers wanted the union to remain neutral in politics, and this resulted the growth of Cochin Turamukha Tholazhali Union and Cochin Port Workers Union. Chapter 4. This chapter traces the major leaders of the trade union movement in Cochin Port and their legacies, as well as the existing trade unions and their activities, and articulate the role of strike hand in hand of unionism in the development of the Cochin harbour. Main titles: Emergence of the Cochin Turamukha Tholazhali Union, early activities, the Kangani system of the trade union, the agitation in the Cochin Port as Pinwal Company strike is the strike of 1951, right to allocate for Mattancheri firing, strike of 1955, strike of 1956, formation of the Dock Labour Board, Bhudapadam issue, strike of 1974, other unions, Port Staff Association, the Harbour Tholazhali Union, tribal unions, All India Federation, Water Transport Workers Federation, major unions in Cochin Port, early problems faced by the leaders, the journal supporting trade unions. The Cochin Turamukha Tholazhali Union was led by K. H. Sulaiman, M. K. Raghavan, and A. A. Kochunni. There was an instance during the time a boat carrying a gang returning after work from the ship owned by the Sindhya Company sunk into the backwaters that Kunji Muhammad died rowing while the duty. There were no political leaders to redress the helplessness of the family of the deceased. This incident provoked the workers who realized the opportunistic attitude of political leaders. This was led to the formation of CT2U. Mattancheri firing. It was during the short-lived PSP ministry that the Mattancheri police firing took place on agitating workers. There were agitation among the workers to stop the notorious Chapa system. Mattancheri firing, 3 workers, Said Ali and Anthony, died in this firing. Hundreds of workers were jailed. T.M. Abu, George Chademuri, P. Gangadharan were the first 3 accused, and they were brutally beaten by the police. The workers were supported by the people from all the corners of the world. Dock Labour Board. Dock Labour Board had been set up for Cochin in July 1959. However, it started functioning only in November 1962. The Dock Labour Board are tripartite bodies consisting of equal number of representatives of labour employers, namely stevedores, steamer agents, and the government. Chapter 5: The impact of trade union on society, economy, and politics. Is an attempt to analyze the social, economic, and political impact of trade union movement on Cochin and the trade union movement in general. Main titles: Relation between ports and economic development after globalization, social impact, role of trade unions in the present economic reforms, labor practices. The effect of economic crisis in 1960 reflected both in the public life as well as the labor circle, and its consequences were price hike, closure of factories, work loss, control of rejection of bonus, and the negation of allowance for social security. On June 25, 1975, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi declared emergency in the country. The 1980 began with the more financial crisis. It created crisis in industrial sector as well as labor sector. The condition of economy of the nation was in very bad shape by 1991 after globalization. Conclusion: with the increase of industrialization, expanding labor force, growing trade union consciousness, increasing rate of literacy among the workers were some of the forces that led to a tremendous growth of trade union in Kerala. Cochin Port played an important role in Kerala's economic development. Economic stability depends on the industrial relations in the country. Transportation is necessary for the growth of the industrial relationship. Water transportation is cheap and the best. The formation and development of Cochin Port helped the growth of Alua Ernakulam industrial area. The Cochin Port was solely responsible for the birth of Travancore Chemicals, FACT, Indian Rare Earths, Indian Aluminium, Hindustan Machine Tools, Oil Refinery, etc. In olden days, Mattangeri was the commercial capital of Kerala. It created many labor and employment opportunities in and around Kochi, leading to the mass entry of both skilled and unskilled workers into the region. The exploitation of the employers increased and there was no guarantee of for the workers' life, health and belongings. This led to the formation of trade unions in Cochin Port. After the formation of trade unions, 99% of unethical exploitations stopped. At the same time, retrograde unions and progressive unions have emerged. Retrograde union leaders oppressed progressive leaders with guns. The right of the union's activities was denied. The illegal practice was increased and most of the union did not take action against the union. Unhealthy competition among the union caused several problems to the Cochin port. This was the main reason for the decline of the Cochin port. The globalization of world economy has brought about tremendous increase in exchange of goods across the world. The world trade also accelerated as cost of shipping increased due to the introduction of economy of the scale and the development of technology in shipping. The port was being declined and the labor sector paralyzed. The world recession affected adversely all the activities of port and shipping companies all over the world. So the number of employees in the ship has been reduced considerably and shipping industry to the control of limited industrial tycoons. The migration of container handling business to Vallarpadam in 2011 has resulted in Wellington Island going to government. Most of the workers lost their job and find new opportunities. Militancy of the trade was decreased, no activities in the Cochin port. Now the situation is changed. The new agenda of the Cochin Port Unions is the revival of the industry with a specific agenda means to redevelop the heart of Cochin Port. The unions in the port join together and fight against the unethical practice in the Cochin Port. They realize the unity of the unions, otherwise they cannot have subsistence. But it's not an easy task because most of the union leaders died and the impression of the people decreased about the unions in port. I extend my gratitude to all of you for having been present. Thank you.
The participants can ask some queries if they want. The candidate is bound to give answers to their queries. So please raise your genuine queries. Please raise your questions. Okay. Please introduce yourself and then ask questions.
Listeners, your mic is not on.
Okay. We can listen. We can hear. We can talk. She's saying something, but it is not.
Okay. Your mic is muted.
Please unmute your mic. If you are using your mobile, please unmute.
ആ മൈക്കിന്റെ ചിഹ്നത്തിലൊന്ന് പിടിപ്പിച്ച് ഞെക്കിയാൽ മതി. നമുക്ക് മാറ്റാനുള്ളത്.
Do you have any problem? Do you have any problem with your mobile or laptop that you are using? Please unmute your mic. You have given your contact number? Yes. Your contact number you can. Okay. Candidate is from you to answer this question. Our role is this to examine. Unmute. So please wait, when others can ask more questions. Please wait, others can now ask questions. Please introduce yourself before asking questions.
There is one question in the chat box.
Okay. We could hear partly. Okay. Your question, once again, the question, say is the question. Note here. Name also. Chat box. So you can put your questions in chat box so that we can read it. Hello.
Congratulations. Yes, congratulations for this PhD. My question, there are two questions I want to ask. One is Marxian methodology use cheyidu class analysis. Exactly, how did you put it in practice? How did you employ this class analysis when you looked at the trade union movement? Per se, class trade union class issue. But exactly a methodology, how did you employ it? Retrospective, you must have done that. Trade union, Cochin Port might bandhapatta, either capitalist formation Adu might bandhapatta trade union dagata. Obviously, Pradesh trade unions and employees better wages fight better conditions of work and fight obvious the latent capitalist logic trade union capitalism inherent capitalist logic establish and മൂന്നാമത്തെ question women employers ന്റെ കഷ്ടപ്പാടുകളെ കുറിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞു. ഈ ട്രേഡ് യൂണിയന്റെ അജണ്ടയിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും അങ്ങനെ ഒരു women employers ന് പ്രത്യേകമായിട്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ടേക്ക് അപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്നതായിട്ട് കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? നാലാമത്തെ question, ബ്രിട്ടനിൽ ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുള്ള ട്രേഡ് യൂണിയൻ മൂവ്മെന്റും കൊച്ചിയിലെ പോർട്ടിലൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുള്ള ട്രേഡ് യൂണിയൻ മൂവ്മെന്റും തമ്മിൽ താരതമ്യങ്ങളുണ്ടോ? സമാനമായിട്ടുള്ള രീതിയിലാണോ അതോ കോളനികളിൽ വ്യത്യസ്തമായിട്ടാണോ ഇത് നടപ്പിലാക്കുന്നത്? Yeah, thank
you. You got your name?
Shiva.
Okay. Okay. Okay, now answer. Okay. Yeah, then you can ask questions. We are recording your questions and we'll give the reply. Others can put in chat box. Can you read it?
തൊഴിലാളി സംഘം രൂപീകരിക്കാൻ രൂപപ്പെടാനുണ്ടായ സാഹചര്യം ഉണ്ടായി. Election divided the formation of CAT.
അത് നോട്ട് ചെയ്യും. അല്ല ഇതിപ്പോ ആരാ ഇട്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ഇത് നോക്കില്ലേ? പേരെഴുതിയിട്ടില്ലേ? അവിടെ നോക്കിക്കോളൂ. അഖില. Questions? Others can ask questions. Put your chat box. Candidates vote. So please listen to some of the questions raised by an examiner. One, what prompted the scholar to select this topic? One of the questions put forth by an examiner. What prompted the scholar to select this topic? Second, how did the implementation of the new labor laws passed by the central government affect the trade union movement today? How did the implementation of new labor laws passed by the central government affect the trade union movement today? Third question, evaluate the efficacy of trade union movement in modern IT sector. Evaluate the efficacy of trade union movement in the modern IT sector. So these are the three questions put forward by one examiner. I shall repeat. What prompted the scholar to select this topic? How did the implementation of new labor laws passed by the central government affect the trade union movement today? Evaluate the efficacy of trade union movement in modern IT sector. There's no more questions. Follow this. Okay. Do you have any questions more from the listeners? You can put it in the chat box or you can ask. Any more question from the participants? Otherwise, the candidate is going to give answers to the queries. Okay.
How did you put എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഈ തിയറി ക്ലാസ് സ്ട്രഗിൾ തിയറി കൊച്ചിൻ പോസ്റ്റ് മാർക്സ് മുതലാളിത്ത സമൂഹത്തെ വിശകലനം ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് വിമർശനത്തിലൂടെയാണ് വർഗസമരം അതായത് ക്ലാസ് സ്ട്രഗിൾ തിയറി വികസിപ്പിച്ചെടുത്തത്. ബൂർഷ്വാസിയും തൊഴിലാളി വർഗവും ന്യൂനപക്ഷവും ഭൂരിപക്ഷവുമായിരിക്കും മുഖ്യ കഥാപാത്രങ്ങൾ. വർഗീയമായി ഉടമസ്ഥയിലെ വസ്തുവകൾ പകരം അവർ സ്വകാര്യ വസ്തു നിർമ്മിക്കും. ഇതിന്റെ സ്വഭാവം അസ്ഥിരമാണ്. വൈരുദ്ധ്യങ്ങളുടെ അടിസ്ഥാനത്തിലൂടെയാണ് ഈ മാറ്റം. മുതലാളിമാർ തൊഴിലാളികളെ ചൂഷണം ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ് അടിസ്ഥാന വൈരുദ്ധ്യം. അതേപോലെ കൊച്ചിൻ പോർട്ടിലെ കോൺട്രാക്ടേഴ്സ് സ്റ്റീവിഡോസ് എന്നറിയപ്പെടുന്നു. അവരുടെ ഇന്റർമീഡിയറീസ് മൂപ്പൻസ് കണ്ടാണീസ് അവര് തൊഴിലാളികളെ ചൂഷണം ചെയ്യുക എന്ന് വെച്ചുകഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ജോലി ലഭിക്കുന്ന 600-700 പേര് വന്ന് 600-700 പേര് മുതലാളിമാരുടെ വീട്ടിൽ രാവിലെ വരും. അതിൽ 60-70 പേർക്ക് മാത്രം ജോലി കിട്ടുള്ളൂ. ഈ ചാപ്പ എന്ന ഒരു ചിറ്റ് അത് സംഘാണിമാര് അവർക്ക് ഇഷ്ടമുള്ളവർക്ക് മാത്രമേ ബന്ധുക്കൾക്കോ ഫ്രണ്ട്സിനോ കൊടുക്കും. ബാക്കിയുള്ളതാണ് ഇവർക്ക് കിട്ടുന്നത്. അതുകൂടാതെ അവരുടെ കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് മൂപ്പൻ കാശ്, നേർച്ച കാശ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് വേജിൽ നിന്നും പൈസ പിരിക്കുന്നു. അതുകൂടാതെ പിന്നെ ഈ ഒരു എക്സ്പ്ലോയിറ്റേഷൻ, ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ളൊരു എക്സ്പ്ലോയിറ്റേഷനാണ് അവിടെ നിലനിന്നിരുന്നു പോകുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ മാർക്സ് പറയുന്നത് തൊഴിലാളികളെ ചൂഷണം ചെയ്യുന്ന തൊഴിലാളികൾ ക്ലാസ് സ്ട്രഗിൾ എന്ന ഇതിലും തൊഴിലാളികളെ ചൂഷണം ചെയ്യുന്ന അടിസ്ഥാന വൈരുദ്ധ്യം. അപ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു ഇതില് ഞാനിത് അഡോപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തു. രണ്ടാമത്തെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ, ബ്രിട്ടനിലുണ്ടായ ട്രേഡ് യൂണിയൻ ആലിസ് ചോദിച്ചിട്ടില്ല. ഇനി തോണി തൊഴിലാളി സംഘം രൂപപ്പെടാനുണ്ടായ സാഹചര്യം 1928 വരെ പുറംകടലിലാണ്. 1928 മുൻപ് വരെ പുറംകടലിലാണ് കപ്പൽ വന്നിരുന്നത്. 28 ശേഷം ഹാർബറിൽ കപ്പൽ അടുക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി. അപ്പോ മുതലാളിമാര് വർക്കേഴ്സിന്റെ വേജ് പകുതിയാക്കി കുറച്ചു. അപ്പൊ ഇതിനെതിരെയാണ് തോണി തൊഴിലാളികള് അതായത് തോണി ലീഡർ സ്ട്രാങ്ങിന്റെ നേതൃത്വത്തിൽ സംഘടിച്ചത്. ഇനി ഇന്റൻഷൻ ബിഹൈൻഡ് ദ ഫോർമേഷൻ ഓഫ് കൊച്ചിൻ പോർട്ട് തുറമുഖ തൊഴിലാളി യൂണിയൻ. കൽക്കട്ട തീസിസ് അഡോപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് 1948 കൊച്ചിൻ പോർട്ടിലുള്ള എല്ലാ കമ്മ്യൂണിസ്റ്റ് യൂണിയനുകളും നിർത്തലാക്കി. ഈ സമയത്താണ് ഒരു തൊഴിലാളി കപ്പലിൽ നിന്നും ജോലി കഴിഞ്ഞ് തോണിയിൽ വരുമ്പോൾ വള്ളം മുങ്ങി മരിക്കുന്നത്. ഒരു പൊളിറ്റിക്കൽ പാർട്ടിയും അവിടെ വന്ന് ഇത് അന്വേഷിക്കേണ്ടായില്ല. ഇതിൽ പ്രൊവോക്കായിട്ടാണ് തൊഴിലാളികൾ കൊച്ചിൻ പോർട്ട് തുറമുഖ തൊഴിലാളി യൂണിയൻ സ്ഥാപിക്കാൻ സാഹചര്യം ഉണ്ടായത്. പിന്നെ എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഈ ടോപ്പിക് എടുക്കാൻ കാരണം? അക്കാഡമിക് ലെവലിൽ ഇങ്ങനൊരു സ്റ്റഡി ഉണ്ടായിട്ടില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ന്യൂ ലേബർ ലോസ് ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ്.
Is there a question from the examiner, one of the examiners? ഇവിടെ ആൻസർ ചെയ്തിട്ട് മതി കേട്ടോ. ഇവിടെ 4 ചോദ്യങ്ങളുണ്ട്. ഒന്ന്, മാർക്സിയൻ തിയറി, ഹൗ ഡിഡ് യു അപ്ലൈ ഇറ്റ്? ട്രേഡ് യൂണിയൻ മൂവ്മെന്റ്, ക്യാപിറ്റൽ മൂവ്മെന്റ്, ക്യാപിറ്റൽസ് ലോജിക് എന്നുള്ളൊരു തത്വം ഇതിലുണ്ടായിരുന്നു ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. വിമൻ എംപ്ലോയീസിന്റെ റോളും അവരെ പറ്റി പരാമർശങ്ങളോ അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടോ, അവരുടെ നേതൃത്വമുണ്ടോ, അവരുടെ കണ്ടീഷൻസ്? അതെ. പിന്നെ ബ്രിട്ടനിലെ ട്രേഡ് യൂണിയൻ മൂവ്മെന്റും കൊച്ചിയിലെ ട്രേഡ് യൂണിയൻ തമ്മിലുള്ള സിമിലാരിറ്റീസ് ഓർ ഡിസിമിലാരിറ്റീസ്?
രണ്ടാമത്തേന് ഞാൻ ആൻസർ ചെയ്തു. മൂന്നാമത്തെ വിമൻ എംപ്ലോയീസ്. അവിടെയുള്ള ഫാക്ടറിയിൽ കൊച്ചിൻ പോർട്ടിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഫാക്ടറീസിൽ കൂടുതലും സ്ത്രീകളാണ് വർക്ക് ചെയ്തിരുന്നത്. അവിടെ ഈ ക്യാഷ്യൂസ് അങ്ങനെയുള്ളതിൻ്റെയൊക്കെ നേരെയാക്കാനും ഇതിനൊക്കെ ആയിട്ടാണ് കൊച്ചിൻ പോർട്ടിൽ കൂടുതലായിട്ട്. പിന്നെ ലേബേഴ്സ്, ഫീമെയിൽ വർക്കേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ബ്രിട്ടനിലെ
ട്രേഡ് യൂണിയൻ മൂവ്മെന്റ് ഇൻ ബ്രിട്ടൻ ആൻഡ് ട്രേഡ് യൂണിയൻ മൂവ്മെന്റ് ഇൻ കൊച്ചി, any similarity or dissimilarities ഉണ്ടോ? That you can give clearly the political nexus between political parties and okay.
Capitalist society-ക്കെതിരെയാണ് ലേബർ യൂണിയൻ രൂപമൊട്ട് ഇംഗ്ലണ്ടില്. തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ഇവിടെയും മുതലാളിത്തത്തിനെതിരെയാണ്. സ്റ്റീവ് ഡോസ്, ഇന്റർമീഡിയറീസ്, അവർക്കെതിരായിട്ടാണ് കൊച്ചിൻ പോർട്ടില് ട്രേഡ് യൂണിയൻ രൂപം കൊണ്ടത്. ഇനി ആദ്യം question. How did the implementation of new labor laws passed by the central government affect the trade union movement today? 2019 വേതന ചട്ടം, 2020 സാമൂഹിക സുരക്ഷാ ചട്ടം, 2020 ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽ റിലേഷൻ കോഡ്, ഓക്യുപ്പേഷൻ സേഫ്റ്റി കോഡ് 2020. With the passing of this act, 33 prominent labor laws was cancelled. Payment of Payment of Wages Act 1936, Minimum Wages Act of 1948, and Equal Remuneration Act 1976. The most prominent among them came to an end with this act. Employees Compensation Act, ESA, EPF, Maternity Act, Gratuity, Statutory Pension, etc. came to an end. The existing Trade Union Act, Industrial Dispute Act, Standing Orders Act will come to an end. Strike can be with 40 days advance notice only. Code of Occupational Safety comes into effect. 30 laws like Factories Act, Contract Labor Act, etc. will come into effect. Who will say? Workers and owners wait and see.
Second question.
Third.
Okay.
Evaluate the efficiency of trade union movement in
IT sector. So these are not actually within the scope of this research study. It's only supplement. IT sector.
IT സെക്ടറിൽ സംഘടിക്കാനുള്ള ഇത് കുറവാണ്.
At present, there is no provision for IT trade union movement in IT sector because all they are run by the capitalist lobbies of multinational companies. So at present, we could not find any trade union movement in IT sector. Yes, sir. Correct?
Exploitation കൂടുതലാണ് അവിടെ.
Surely, in one day it will also come out with the trade union movement. Otherwise,
It is not learned, it is not
Okay.
learned through our documents.
okay. Then last one.
മൂന്ന് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ.
എൻ്റെ കുറെ അതിനകത്ത് ഇപ്പോഴോട്ട് വന്ന സാറേ ഞാൻ കുറെ കേസ് ചെയ്തത് പക്ഷേ ഡ്രോബാക്സ് ആണ് മെട്രോളജി ക്ലിയറും അതിന് സജഷൻ സപ്പോർട്ട് ഉണ്ട്. ചോദിച്ചേക്കും ഇതിനകത്ത് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഒന്നും ഇല്ല ഫസ്റ്റ് എക്സാമിനത്. എക്സാമിന്റെ പേരൊന്നും പറയുന്നില്ല, കമന്റ്സ് പറയാം. So these are the comments of one of the examiners. The concluding part of the dissertation is given rather disorderly and seems to be drafted in haste. There are errors in omissions on the part of the research scholar in making use of primary sources. So one of the examiners have pointed out sufficient number of primary sources. Though in the reviews of literature, the scholar has reported that she will use more primary sources, but lack of primary sources is one of the shortfalls of this thesis you had noted. Then there are some methodological errors pointed out, especially during these days. All the research scholars are supposed to stick on to one methodology throughout. We can't apply different methodologies in writing thesis. So throughout the thesis, apply one methodology. There are sufficient number of books available for research paper writing in market. So go through, and especially for writing social science thesis, there are internationally approved methodology. So stick on to one methodology. That's one of the examiners pointed out. Then in typing, there are typing errors. Capital letters, using of capital letters at random. So these has to be avoided. So this is only a methodological error. Then some of the words are incomplete. Letters are missing. So she has done it in haste, but this is not a major drawback. So in future, the research scholars who are listening to the thesis or the writing the thesis must be careful of finding more time to scrutiny and submit, because these are going to be an authentic source for the university. In future, many research scholars as well as others are supposed to go through the research thesis. So avoid such mistakes. Then value judgment you should avoid in writing thesis, because the scholar is absolutely 100% neutral. They are not in favor of one argument or another argument. So they have to maintain that neutrality throughout the thesis. Suppose we cite some incidents related to some movement. We are not party to the movement. We are neutral and use such words which are showing that you are completely impartial with this movement. Because at our heart, we may have sympathy with the people who are murdered or killed, but we are not supposed to write any type of words showing that there is a value judgment in writing thesis. Then, especially in this part, the Mattancheri firing, it has been, I think that the scholar has become part of the sympathy of those people who murdered or killed. So such instances should be avoided by the research scholars. And these drawbacks are very simple in writing thesis, but little more scrutiny is required in writing thesis. Overall, the examiner has pointed out that there are merits, and these shortcomings are in general ignorable, and it is not a major drawback in granting or awarding PhD. Then another examiner has pointed out merits of the thesis, especially the scholar has took much pain in analyzing the present conditions, and also she went beyond 1975 to portray the conditions of the trade union movement in Cochin area, and she has highlighted that ports are important in the development of commercial and economic activities of an area. So it is because of the Cochin port that Alua, Ernakulam, and in and around the areas became the industrial hub of India, or rather South India and India in general. So she has highlighted these merits. So these are overall some of the questions raised by the examiners as well as the listeners. Then what are the next? So let me take this opportunity to express my concluding remarks. All the examiners have positively responded and written in favor of the thesis, and I am very happy to recommend to the university that Saujat KZ may be granted or awarded PhD for this Herculean task she has undertaken in writing the thesis. So congratulations to the scholar. Congratulations to the scholar. Thank you.
Good afternoon to one and all. Honorable Chairman of the Board of Adjudicators, Professor P.D. Joni, Head of Department of History, Professor Vasilithil A., Dr. Saujat, my dear friends and participants. First of all, let me congratulate Dr. Saujat, who is the star of the day.
Okay.
It gives me immense pleasure to thank you all today. I take this opportunity to express my regards and gratitude to Professor P.D. Joni. Despite his busy schedule, he agreed to be the chairman of this open defense to award PhD to Srimati Saujat. I would further extend my hearty thanks to Professor A. Vasilithil, HOD, Department of History, SSUS, Kaladi. I sincerely thank Professor B. Shobhanan, former HOD, University of Kerala, who was the external expert of Saujat. My deep sense of appreciation and thanks to all the participants, especially Professor M.D. Alice, Professor Merikutti MP, Professor Rama Devi, and Professors N.J. Francis, Shiba K.M., Susan Thomas, Minnie Thomas, M.T. Narayanan, and Srimati Srija, who attended and made it a successful event. I thank Mr. Chindu and Mr. Ullas for all the technical support they extended for conducting this Google Meet. Once again, I thank you all for attending this function. Thank you.
Now the program, open debate YOC, program is over.
Now the Open Defense IOS program is over. Thank you very much for your participation and also your queries. I think that all of you will join with us in recommending to the university that the candidate may be awarded PhD. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.